Alrighty then. Part 3 of my special friends. And the final segment. Let's see. Part 2. Shade went to find himself by talking to guardians, and he met a couple of um, Chinese dragons at the end. Now he's on his way back to the cherry blossoms, so here we are. Reaching the blossoms, Shade was surprised to see that Kumio wasn't anywhere in sight. Instead, a beautiful woman with platinum white hair, wearing a shining white silk robe with gold trim, was talking to a relatively small dragon with blue light scales and a pale pink undertones near the stone slab in the center of the glade. Sensing the newcomer, the pair turned to Shade and bid him welcome. The woman's soft brown eyes were familiar. Kumiho? Shade asked, uncertain. With a soft laugh that was like bells twinkling on the air, Kumiho responded, "However did you guess?" A little embarrassed to say so, Shade mumbled, "Your eyes, they seem so familiar to me." Shade stood a little straighter, confused. "I thought Snake said that everyone here could only take one form." He likely said almost everyone here only takes one form. I am one of the exceptions, of course. They don't call me Great One for nothing. Kumiho smiled knowingly. It's been a trying day for you. Don't worry, you're doing fine. This is a friend of mine, the powerful elven dragon. Pleasure to make your acquaintance, Dragon said. I am hearing that you are on a journey to find yourself. Any luck with it so far? It's been a long and difficult road so far, began Shade, mostly because of the walking. I have met two guardians, a white wolf and a panda that seemed holographic the way her colors moved about. They both asked me a question, which I answered honestly, and then they sent me on my way. I was starting to believe this was all a big joke at my expense until I met a pair of Chinese dragons. I confided in them that I was feeling like a fool. They helped put some perspective on my current situation. I believe I am ready for the next guardian to learn from the teachings that they may offer. Then I suggest you go visit the final guardian. To the west you'll find him. Best of luck to you, Dragon said. Kumiho simply nodded, gave an encouraging smile, and Shade headed to the west of the glade. Taking a step beyond the blossoms, it became extremely warm. After walking a ways, Shade came across a granite building with two stone statues depicting fighters frozen in a connected high kick, serving as the entrance. As he approached, the stone doors opened inward on their own. Hello, Shade called out. Welcome to my humble abode, rumbled a voice from within. Do come in. Feeling more than a little apprehensive, Shade crossed the threshold into the building. With a foot against his left knee, a plum turtle dressed in traditional ninja garb balanced easily on a log in the center of the room. You have entered the territory of the ninja warrior. Do you seek training or counsel? Turtle asked in a much softer voice. I seek counsel, Shade responded confidently. Wrong. You seek both training and counsel. You can be given all the advice in the world, but if you don't know how to implement it, how can you use it? I can tell you need to I can tell you that you need to fly, but how can you if you don't know how? Turtle reprimanded. I could advise you to swim, but without training, you'd sink like a stone. Do you understand? Shade simply nodded. This last guardian scared him the most. Turtle reminded him of a teacher he once had. A kind man, but you never knew what he expected from you whenever he asked a question. It was best just to remain silent and try to be invisible. Except here, Shade was the only student. Doing a backflip, Turtle approached Shade and asked, "What do you want out of life?" Thinking hard, Shade grew a blank. What did Turtle mean? Shade had been asked this question multiple times throughout his life, but he had never had an answer. It always seemed like the person asking it before wanted a specific answer, like the "What will you be doing in 5 years?" question. Shade hated questions like this. He felt that they were purposely designed for failure. "I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean." Surprisingly, Turtle burst out in laughter. He laughed so hard he started tearing up. "Think very carefully. What do you want out of life? There isn't a correct answer. This isn't a pop quiz." Wiping a tear from his eye, the turtle grabbed an ornate staff off a nearby rack and started twirling it. "Think of this as life. Right now, it is whirling, but if I do this," Turtle flipped the staff straight in the air and caught it behind his back. "Nothing in life is ever certain. You can't plan every movement. You can, however, dream of the things you'd like from life and work for it." Staring in shock, understanding crept into Shade's mind. What did he want from life? "I want a good life with my wife. I want a life with giggling children. I want to love and be loved. I want to be liked. I want to be remembered for something good, something great. When I leave for whatever comes next, I want to leave my world better than it was when I was born into it for everyone." Tearing up, Shade let out everything he had been hiding from the world, believing that his fondest wishes sounded a little too good for anyone to believe them. Turtle regarded Shade for a moment, then nodded. "Dry your tears. I can't say where life will take you, but you have a good heart, from what I can tell. Return to Kumiho. I believe she has one last message for you." Shade recomposed himself while slowly walking back to the cherry blossoms. Did that really just happen? Did he really just reveal his deepest desires to a total stranger? A talking turtle, no less? Upon finding himself back at Kumio's rock, Shade was greeted by a gray phoenix with pink wings. "Hello, Shade. I am not really up for much today, but I wanted to meet you anyway." Phoenix was looking a little sickly, like she was under the weather. Kumio was back in her fox form, resting on her rock. "Nice to meet you, Phoenix. Why did you want to meet me, though?" Shade asked. "I heard about you and your journey. It looked like you were almost through." "There is just one last thing. The end can also be a beginning," Phoenix said. "I'm sorry, but what do you mean?" Shade asked, thoroughly confused by this statement. Smiling a sad smile, Phoenix simply replied, "This," as she burst into flames and rapidly turned to ashes. Mortified, Shade stared. Turning to Kumio, he said, "What happened?" "She completed another cycle. If you'd be so kind, put her up here. I will take care of her until she is able to carry on herself," Kumio requested. Looking down, Shade saw that Phoenix was struggling in her ashes. She was reborn anew. Gently picking her up and dusting her off, Shade saw that Phoenix was now bright pink with her newly formed wingtips being ash gray. Setting her down on Kumiho's rock, Shade thought about the last words Phoenix spoke. The end can also be a beginning. She was trying to tell me that the end of something can be the beginning of something else, wasn't she? Shade asked. You understood then, but it goes deeper than that too. The meaning behind the words is different for everyone, but it doesn't mean it's wrong either, Kumio responded. One last question. Who are you? I thought I wasn't supposed to use my name, Shade started to say. I didn't ask for your name. I asked who you are. Names are pretty, but they don't say anything. Like king or queen, it's more of a title than anything else, Kumio explained. I am a man who loves too much. I am a man who struggles with my inner demons, but tries his best to do what is right. I am a man who hopes and dreams about his future and fears that none will be realized. I am an honest man trying to make his way in an unhonest world, attempting to help all who may need it. A man who has been mistreated and abused throughout his life and still finds the courage to love and be open with others. I am who I am. With his final words, Shadehead enveloped in a bright flash of light and emerged as himself again, fully and wholly human. The door is with you, traveler. You have but to turn the knob. Good luck with your journeys. Know that we will always be here with you, Kumiho smiled, gesturing to the golden door that had brought this man to this place that had appeared behind him. Take care of yourself and know that if you do your best, you can never really fail. Stepping through the door, the man found himself back in the park. Only a minute or so had passed. He never forgot his time in Newwood, then the inhabitants, or the lesson they taught him. They were a part of him now, forever and always. Thank you so much for watching.